It's a preview, Kerbal Space Program 0.90 beta. Big things are happening. This is quite possibly the biggest, most feature-rich update ever for the game. What you're seeing right here, Mark III spaceplane parts. They look a whole lot like space shuttle parts. You can do other things with them. I wanted to build a space shuttle. This vehicle becomes possible not only because of these incredible parts. Yeah, look at this big fat payload bay. You can fit 2.5-meter parts inside with room to spare. But also it's possible the fine-tuning with the angle, the gimbal on the engines, because of new features that we have for how to put parts together in the vehicle editor. Something I am very, very happy about, because designing vehicles is probably my very favorite part of this entire game. So, yeah, Mark III parts work, lots of other things work. I am very, very happy to show them to you. This shuttle that I put together and spent way too many hours on, it sort of works. It launches, it takes payloads. It glides actually worse than the real shuttle, if that is at all possible. Cockpit kind of flies pretty good though. And, you know, just in case anybody's concerned that this thing's ever going to turn into too real a simulator, we still have explosions and we still have happy little green guys. It's still Kerbal Space Program. Okay, first thing I want to do, let's get in here, and I want to take a look at the sandbox test, the sandbox save file that I already had running. I want to talk about the big changes to the vehicle editors, and in order to demonstrate this, we'll use this space shuttle that I put together. Notice, first off, check this out. Even though I don't have anything in the VAB tab in this load, but yeah, you could actually load something from the vehicle assembly building, you know, using this GUI right here. So that's pretty cool. Okay, there it is. Many, many shuttles have I made, but this is the first one that I've ever made totally stock. And it works. It works like the real one. Yeah, using 3 mainsails as my main engines, using 8 of the big SRBs, and actually this little radial engine, which many people have not liked a whole lot, that it makes a perfect OMS engine. I will also briefly point out that you could see earlier that in the first bit that I recorded that this part was white. It didn't have a texture. That was a bug. I went ahead and recorded it. I didn't know how long that I would have in order to put this video together, but it just briefly, it wasn't textured. Now it is. All right, cool. Here it is. First thing I want to call your attention to, look at this over here on the left. Our part list has been changed. We still have, you click on all of these, and we still have the same old familiar the part categories, with the difference that engines and fuel tanks have now been split into 2 separate categories. Click on this arrow up at the top, enable advanced mode, and we get an entirely new bar of different options. These are part filters. Our old familiar categories, these are filter by function. If you click on this next one, filter by module, let me see, these are all engines. These are all engines that gimbal. These are all engines that have alternators that produce electric charge. And you go through this entire list, you know, generators, RCS, resource intakes. It is a more intelligent way to list and search for parts. Filter by resource, whether you need something. All the tanks that have oxidizer, all the tanks that have liquid fuel, all the tanks that have xenon gas. I like these filters. The filter by manufacturer, probably in the game currently, isn't so useful, but I envision this as being very useful once you start adding a bunch of mod parts in there. Mod parts, usually they have their own manufacturer, and you can very easily and quickly find all the parts that are added by a particular mod. Filter by tech level. In a sandbox game, not particularly useful, unless one thing that I immediately come to mind is if you're using a sandbox save file in order to develop, in order to design the vehicles that you're going to use in your career mode. And if you're in career, you're at the 3rd tech level, click on that and it'll give you all the tech level, all the parts of that particular tech level. But the big selling point, add custom category. You can create your own part filters. New category name, since I'm looking at this right now. Here, we'll call it Space Shuttle Parts. There we go. What was I saying? Let me see. We'll give it a big tail fin for an icon. Hey, and there is my category. And you can add custom subcategories. So if you wanted to have, space shuttle engines, space shuttle wing parts, all kinds of good stuff like that. Let's get this idea continues into the sub-assembly. Yeah, I use sub-assemblies a lot, and now we have the option of creating your own custom subcategory within the sub-assemblies. I'll tell you what, one thing that I'll do is I'll imagine that I'll have one for first stages. Let me see, where's a good one? Where's a big rocket engine? I need an icon with a big rocket engine. Come on. Icon, yeah, here we go. That's probably a good one. I'll accept, and then I'd add another custom subcategory. I'd probably have something that'd say radial boosters. And where's another one over there? How about, I don't know, probably that one. Sure. The thing is, whatever your personal workflow is, the kind of things that you like to do whenever you're designing vehicles, this you can set up your filters, set up your custom subcategories, so you can quickly and easily keep track of the various parts that you like, the subcategories that you like. You configure this to make it easier to work for you. That is exactly the kind of thing that I like in any kind of sandbox game. Give the player ultimate customization over everything. Next thing, probably even into my mind, even more exciting than the filters, these guys up here, these 4 buttons to the upper left, these are part gizmos. The first one, place. This is the old traditional mode that we're very familiar with. And this is you grab a part and you place it and can stick a part wherever you want it. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me click on just that and get rid of it. Okay. You can click on offset, the next one we want to talk about, or these all have hotkeys, just simple 2, 3, or 4. Just a couple of days of working with this, the hotkeys become second nature. Offset, what this means is you can grab a part, and here we'll use this external command C, and we'll put them up on top. Here, let's do the angle set. It'll be right in the middle, right there. Okay, hit hotkey 2, it says to select an attached part to offset. I'll do this one that I just did. Okay. If you have the angle snap on and you go to part offset, you click and drag on any of these arrows and you see that it moves in increments of, I don't know, it's like a quarter meter. I'm not certain exactly how many centimeters or whatever. Turn angle snap off. And now it just moves perfectly smoothly and gives you a great deal of fine control over the exact placement of this part. Hit hot button 3, and that turns rotate again with again with the angle snap. Turn that on, and you click on any of the circles, and it does it in increments. I believe these are increments of 5 degrees, or it could be 15. I'm not certain how many degrees. I'll say that. Turn angle snap off, and you can have just perfectly fine control over the whole thing. And pull this off of there. This is how I did the Space Shuttle main engines. Let's take a look here at center of mass and center of thrust. This is how I did the difficult work of getting the center of mass to point through, the center of thrust to point through the center of mass by going and clicking part offset. I'm sorry. Well, first off, we'll do offset. I attached my engine to the back of this adapter, and then used the offset in order to sink the engine inside the structure some. Hit 3 to go to the rotate, and was able to do that, and it gives you just perfectly fine control down to just slight fractions of a degree of rotation in order to get the engine pointing exactly where you need it to be. The the level of customization, the fine control over detail that this gives you is a wonderful, beautiful thing. It is a fantastic advancement to building things in Kerbal Space Program. And no matter what kind of player you are in this game, you know, career, sandbox, realism, fantasy, building things is what we all do, and this makes building better. So I'm very happy about that. The fourth gizmo, root. Hit that and click any old place. It says select another part to attach by. I will click on, how about this fuel tank right here? Click that. And now this fuel tank is now the root part of this entire vehicle. The cockpit is no longer the root part. I could take that off and I could put something else on there if I so desired. It's perfectly simple. I mean, it's perfectly simple. It's so easy to use. Hit 4, click somewhere, then click on the part that you want to be the root. We'll make the cockpit be the root again. It does have to be said that with the part offset, it is possible to completely break physics. Some people might be upset that I so aggressively clipped parts in here. To tell you the way that I justify it in my own mind, since I have all these parts clipped into this adapter that carries fuel, I just emptied all the fuel out of it. I'd say it is now a pure structural part, and it's it's for utilities and stuff. Simple things you can do with this degree of part clipping. I made all my RCS ports now are 5-way RCS ports, and you can do other things like, here we'll just demonstrate this. This I found necessary in order to get the aerodynamics for this thing to work so it could keep its nose up. Attached a couple of canards, actually, yeah, when I attached a couple of canards like that, and then hit the part offset and hid them inside. So that gave you enough pitch control to fly the thing, it sort of glides, without, and it still looks like the real space shuttle. Let me see, we'll do another example here. Tell you what, let's start something new. Do you like building things smooth? Do you like things that look aerodynamic? I've got an idea here. Let's say that I'm doing a career mode and I'm going to be collecting science. I want a simple airplane to go and collect science. I want this airplane to land in biomes, and we'll do some goo experiments. How about that idea? Let's get a couple of goo containers. We'll do 2 of them in order to keep it symmetrical. And this, for so long, has been pretty much what you're limited to, is sticking these things on the outside like that. And really, it just doesn't look so great. That's not the way airplanes are typically designed, with having equipment just hanging out in the airstream like that. Click 2 to go to part offset. Turn the angle snap off, click on these things, and we can just partially clip it into the middle. Let's see if I can kind of blend that curve in with the curve on the cockpit part, about like that. Let's see if we can actually match up that mark on the texture. Okay, did I go too far? Let's deploy this. I want to be able to see the goo inside. Okay, let's pull them outside just a little bit more. Yeah, about like that. To my eye, that looks a whole lot better. And again, this is a structural part. It's not like there's any fuel, any other kind of resources that are inside there. And the mirroring actually works. It works auto-magically. Let's say I want to add just a regular battery to it. Let's just turn that mirroring off, turn angle snap back on. Say I want to put one, I just determine that it needs more electric charge. Again, that doesn't exactly look aerodynamic, does it? Go to angle snap off, click on that one, and pull it just like that. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, just completely submerge the battery inside of there, and that would also work, but I think this looks pretty sharp. Looking at that, if you look at aircraft tails, quite often the tail is kind of raised in order to angle it up off the ground. It prevents tail strikes. I want the angle, the surface of the top edge of this tail piece to be in line with the top part of this fuselage. What I've done in the past was gone to surface attach and try to get it pretty close to the straight and give it one click on the keyboard like that, and that will work. However, it is a ton easier. Just click it on there and we'll do the part rotate Click on that one. And just like that. And now it fits perfectly. Another thing that I want to demonstrate, let's say I want to add some batteries to this one. Notice here I am in the space plane hangar. We turn our symmetry on. Alright, see, here is our traditional mirrored symmetry like you would expect in the space plane hangar. Hit R. And now, if I can pull the camera up, yeah, there's a good look at it. Now we are into the radial symmetry. Now we can do radial symmetry in the spaceplane hangar, and we can also do mirrored symmetry in the vehicle assembly building. This, to my mind, is a fantastic update. You can hit R and you can turn it back. So many simple little changes that these gizmos make possible. Okay, the shielded, what do you call this? The shielded docking port, it so often sits up on top of here, and it's always had an issue. You notice there's got kind of a big gap. Here, let's turn this off. Let's go again. Let's go to part offset and drop that down just a little bit. And you notice now it is smooth. And okay, it does kind of interfere with the hatch a little bit visually. But that gap is gone. The Kerbals are still able to use the hatch. This just looks 100 times better. Another thing I want to point out about the rotation and moving these things. They have two different modes for the part offset. I'm going to click on this. Right now it is in what's called the absolute mode. The direction that you move it is relative to the up, down, left, and right of the spaceplane hangar itself. Hit F and it changes to the local mode of offset. So even though it's attached radially at an angle, you can grab that and move it in parallel, or perpendicular, to the surface upon which it is attached. And to my eye, that looks a whole lot better. Hit F again, switch it back to absolute mode. Now, I do have to point out that using these part widgets that, I'm sorry, I did it again. Part gadgets. It is entirely possible just to completely break physics and make something totally unrealistic. However, I think this is not necessarily a flaw. I mean, there's lots of people that like building totally unrealistic things. Here's something that just occurred to me. Do you think I can do a Star Wars pod racer out of these? Okay, again, do the part... I end up using the part offset a whole lot. Like, a lot more than the rotate. Oh, it's not going to let me pull it too far ahead. Okay, well, it's close to what I was wanting to see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is possible to place parts in such a fashion that they are no longer actually physically touching the root. Completely unrealistic, but then this game isn't always totally about realism, is it? If you want to do a Star Wars pod racer, I'm certain there's ways you can manipulate it to get it to do that. If you want, instead of realism, you want like this far future anti-gravity fantasy technology thing. You can still do that. So, that's pretty cool. I consider these part gadgets, just a few days of working with them, the hotkeys are absolutely second nature. After working with this a little bit, I went back to the current version 0.25, and I felt handicapped in the vehicle editor. It's like, oh, come on, can we just release this thing so I can use the part gizmos? Everybody designs vehicles in this game. Even if you design small, simple stuff, you still do it, and these make it better. I consider these tools to be the best part of this entire update. But of course, that's not the only thing. This is what I wanted to see in the vehicle editor. Now let's go ahead and take a look at career mode, things that are happening over there. Just went and did a default career, all the default settings, just to do a really quick demonstration of this. I imagine everybody else is doing previews. We'll cover the career mode in more detail. Here we are with their level 1 starting facilities of Kerbal Space Center. All the buildings, all the facilities look much smaller and simpler. I like the change. I like the looks of them. If you want to know what is different about all of these, mouse over it and right click, you find that our starting launch pad has a maximum vessel size, 20 by 21 meters, a max vessel weight of 12 tons. Let me tell you, making orbit with a 12-ton vehicle, it is possible. It is not easy. Upgrade. What do you get if you upgrade this? Yeah, then you get your dimensions increased to 36 by 40 meters and a maximum vessel weight of 140 tons. Take a click over here at the vehicle assembly building. Level 1, you can do 30 parts. After you upgrade it, 255 parts, and you get action groups. I do have to say that as much as all of this stuff is subject to change, I mean, I'm recording this as an early access experimental build, the actual balance of exactly what features change with all of these vehicles, that is especially subject to change. So it's entirely possible that what you see may be different from what I'm recording. Kerbals now come in 3 varieties. Jebediah is a pilot. Pilots provide assistance in flying the vessels. Pilots have the ability to hold the direction of the vessel at the various icons that are on the nav ball. Bill Kerman is an engineer. Engineers can repair broken parts if the part is able to be repaired. Bob Kerman is a scientist. Scientist boosts the value of data gained from the various science experiments. The stars that they have over here, these represent the experience level that this particular Kerbal has gained. As they gain experience, they increase their abilities. The Kerbals gain experience by going places and doing things. You know, in particular, say, go land somewhere, go plant a flag somewhere, go do science at some other location. Then they gain a little bit of experience for that. And of course, all the other Kerbals have the same various categories available to them. Let's go and take a look in here at another thing. A big change to career mode has been the integration of the fine print mod. Fine print does much improved contracts. These icons here, these are places where you can go and do a survey. So you take a look at this, you can see how far away these survey sites are from Kerbal Space Center. You can judge, depending upon what level of parts you've unlocked and what sort of vehicles you are able to put together, you can choose for yourself. Will you be able to go to take a crew report from below 16,600 meters near zone 90 F7? Or, is this one below 16,600 meters? Some of the surveys will actually be on the ground. Fine print does many contracts in addition to these surveys. You'll have things you can to put a satellite into a specific orbit. Say a specific orbit around a different body, around a different planet or different moon even. Fine print is a good mod. I'm very happy to see it folded into the stock game, and it is a significant improvement to the whole contracts system. Another thing that's changed is now we have biomes. We've always had biomes on Kerbin, on the moon, on Minmus. Now we have biomes on Duna, on Ike. As matter of fact, on every body that you can land, everything that has a solid surface upon which a vehicle may touch down or a Kerbal may stand now has biomes. Biomes that you can go and you can collect science. You get the data points, you get the funny little messages, you get to read them, so it has value even in sandbox mode. Now we actually have a reason to go and explore on Elu. If you were, say, a completist, if you are you've set yourself the goal of going and returning a surface sample from every body in the game, returning that sample back to Kerbin, that's going to take you a while, because there are a lot of biomes. And that's a brief summary. I'm certain that there are features, I'm already thinking of a couple of features that I neglected to mention for all this time that I've been flapping my lips. It is a huge update. I believe it is the biggest update ever in just one single update, generate the most features, and it is well worthy of moving out of alpha state and into beta. I will remind you that this change, moving into beta, does not mean that development is going to stop or slow down or anything far from it. What this means is that all the core features that Squad is considered essential for their final vision of the game, all the core features are actually in the game and they are working. What is going to come now in updates to come will be focused not so much on adding new features, but on balancing and improving and polishing the features that do exist. So we've seen up to now, we've seen lots of new things in each update. In the future, very likely, we'll see better things rather than new. Both approaches excite me. I'm very pleased to have followed the game so far, to see how far it has come in the past few years, and I'm excited to see what it's going to look like in the next couple of years. It's been good talking to you. I will speak to everybody later. Goodbye.